Ladies and gentlemen, another wonderful moment here on the Wayne Hall Show as we bring you a very interesting topic. You know, for a long while we have had the series Down the Backstretch with none other than the man I called AM in the PM. And AM for Alton Mckenzie, Calabar, Georgetown, and as a matter of fact, now track coach with Georgetown University. Very knowledgeable in the world of track and field and a big sports enthusiast in general. Alton, it's been a minute, AM. Welcome to this.
Yeah, man, I forget the bell going. Leave the backstretch. Leave the straightaway leading to the backstretch.
I wish I had brought my props, but I didn't. But hey, man, good to see you.
Likewise. Been a minute.
Yes, man. Yes.
Unfortunate that under the circumstances, down the backstretch is back in action. But hey, we'll take it.
When you're locked in, you know, the least you can do is go down the backstretch. So
absolutely,
I'll take that over a lot of other options.
Absolutely.
Man, let's talk track and field, sports in general for a minute, man. Here we are, everybody, looking forward to a big, busy year on the calendar, especially in your era of track and field. And as it turns out, more things are being canceled and postponed than is going on. So I'm curious to hear your take on how this coronavirus, COVID-19, has impacted the world of track and field this year. And I let you pick it up how you want to. I know boys champs, Penn Relays, the Olympics, all been impacted in terms of cancellations, postponement, etc. So from AIM's world, and as a track coach of a college, Georgetown University, how is COVID-19 affecting life?
And it's, needless to say, it's a major impact across the board, from, forget just collegiately, high school, from the high school level all the way to the professional level. Everyone is impacted. If you think college seasons are cut short, high school seasons, you have seniors who would be pursuing finishing up their senior year, their outdoor season compromised. For the most part, majority of the U.S. schools by state, their season will be canceled. As far as the collegiate level, I think 3 weeks ago, collegiate seasons were across the NCAA outdoor season, spring seasons were all canceled. But not just track and field, across every sport. And then when you think of the impact of recruiting, like a big part of, now is a big time, you'll be finishing up recruiting. And even if you weren't finishing up for this year, preparing for next year, no visits, no unofficial or official visits. There's a dead period until May 31st. So any interaction face-to-face is at a standstill. And this whole COVID-19 crisis is bigger than athletics. If the Olympics can get postponed, champs, Penn Relays, come on, let's put it in perspective. This is much bigger than sports. So yes, it's a big impact, but we're talking about lives being saved now. We're not talking about worrying about seasons being saved. We're trying to save lives. So it will be an ongoing impact too. It's not just going to be this year. It will be for the next 4 years, because you have, for example, kids who are seniors in college this year, their spring seasons, they're going to be rewarded back with those seasons. So track and field, lacrosse, baseball, those collegiate athletes will have the option of pursuing a 5th year. So major impact, and not just impacting us for this year, but also impacting us for years to come.
Very interesting, AM. Yeah, the impact, no doubt, is a big one. And you mentioned, things like established events like the Olympics. The Olympics has been boycotted, but I cannot recall the Olympics being postponed. So we're gonna have a 2020 Olympics in 2021.
Yeah, and it's, World Wars, typically the last time the Olympics was away from boycotts would be due to a world war. So this is,
there you go.
Nothing close to what we've experienced in Penn Relays. The last time Penn Relays didn't take place was, I think, during World War II. So it's a major impact. One thing I must say I'm proud of, Jamaica, and there's some coaches who might have felt initially that, oh, we should have talked about postponing it, but Champs was canceled before even Penn Relays. So I think Jamaica should be commended, I should say, on making such a swift decision. I was really impressed that they made that decision early. And you think a week, if you look back, if a week ago we were talking about having a high school championship, come on. Think of where we are now in the world and where Jamaica is, and if that would have made sense. So at the time, it would seem like a hasty decision, but it was actually a very smart one to cancel it when they decided to cancel it.
See, one of the things, we have to admit is that Jamaica's situation, socio-economic situation, and our infrastructure with healthcare and all that cannot deal with a pandemic of this magnitude should it take set the way it has in some countries. So early decisive action was important. And yes, they are being lauded worldwide for that. But to go back to your point, it did look a little harsh so early in the game to say no Penn Relays. And when you think about what Penn Relays mean to Jamaica, think about it. Jamaicans and Penn Relays go hand in hand. It's almost like no Jamaica, no Penn Relays. And that's how it played out. Jamaica pulled out real quick. And then eventually the world realized it was smart. It was forward thinking. We couldn't have a Penn Relays this year. Yeah. When you look at, one of the things I want to ask you as an athlete and track coach, we're talking about all these major events on the calendar that has not been able to go on. How does an athlete adjust? We see an athlete for 10 seconds of a race, for example, with the 100 meters and so on per event. We see them this one time every 4 years at the Olympics or on their circuit. But so much goes into the preparation of an athlete year round.
Correct.
As a track coach and former athlete yourself, how does these postponements, and when you look at the Olympics being pushed a year away, how does an athlete adjust their preparation to make sure come Tokyo 2021, they're still in mint condition?
Well, this is unprecedented. There is no template. There's no example to follow to say how you adjust to this. But I mean, with track and field, you're creatures of habit, and so you have a program. You're following your program. You adjust accordingly. If you have your coaches would have the ability to adjust. Yes, it pushes people back, because one thing, Father Time never loses. So if you were in a position where you felt like this was the year to be at your best, yeah, maybe you feel like that's compromised. But at the end of the day, we're creatures of habit. We have a program. We're gonna adjust where we need to, but you're gonna follow you go back to your program. You have maybe an annual program. You adjust it. You make the adjustment, and that's part of. If you have somebody who has that understanding, that's the adjustment you have to make. Like, even from the professional level, they are very meticulous with detail. You keep doing that. You just adjust based on what the realities you have in front of you. That's the only choice you have to make.
Yes, I've seen where athletes have said, that it's not easy when they have a target in mind to reprogram the mind and body to be in tune for that change in date. Everything was looking good for a particular date. So to move it on them can be, for some athletes, I'm sure, more of a setback, while others who are struggling with injuries or challenges unknown might be so happy for a decision like that.
Well, this is the thing. The common denominator is everybody's in the same boat. So it's kind of like if we have a meet and it's raining, and you're like, oh, I've never trained in the rain. Well, now everybody's facing the same thing. We're adjusting to everything being pushed back a year. And there's a silver lining in every cloud. To me, it is more track and field. God willing, everything goes well. There'll be more track and field for the next 4 years, because you have the World Championships were supposed to be next year in Eugene. Now that's going to be probably pushed till 2022. So you're going to have a World Championship the year after the Olympics, and then you're going to have another World Championship 2023, and then you have Olympic Games again 2024. So for me, my view is it's actually a plus. You have more. Now you're going to have more track and field every year. So there's a there's a blessing in disguise in every case that you could come across if you view it as a negative. You have to be, to answer your question, Wayne, you know, we're passionate about sports, we're passionate about the sport, but now we have to coach not just with our brains, but with our heart. You got to be compassionate. You got to not take that passion and become more compassionate. Don't just be passionate. We're in a different environment now, so we have to be a little bit more compassionate about how we view athletics.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing from the track and field expert right here. Now, from a coaching standpoint at a university, Georgetown University, this time of year, well, let me rephrase that. Recruiting is a major part of the program.
Correct.
And being locked down, as I'm sure some serious implications, and a coach not being able to see athletes in action that they're interested in, one, and two, being able to travel and meet with athletes. So how is this impacting your job as coach, and in terms of looking ahead and getting the talent, you know, that you want to keep your program, you know, in a viable and competitive level?
Like everybody else, you're teleworking. We're doing a lot of stuff online. So you can still make phone calls. You can still communicate electronically. So that becomes, and a lot of the kids are out of school too. So that now becomes even more, you know, there's more activity electronically. Can't meet face to face, but you can speak face to face.
That's right.
Not
That's
use
right.
FaceTime, but you have to. So,
like we're doing.
Correct. So you just, you know, you have to adjust. You have to be able to make adjustments, and the adjustment now comes with operating in a different environment, one that you're not used to. But again, you have to just be able to roll with the punches. So now you have to recruit more electronically. You have to just be more deliberate. Spend a lot of time, your ears hurt. Spend a lot of time on the phone.
Amazing.
So that's just the reality.
Yes, it's amazing, AM. Oh, this whole pandemic is impacting everyone in their little corner. Ladies and gentlemen,
If you think about it,
Alton Mckenzie, track coach, Georgetown University, former, you know, I have to put in the Calabar old boy, because yes,
I'm not complaining.
They won't complain. And I don't know how he's surviving this year, not having a boys champs or a Tokyo or his NC AA events.
Well, let's put it this way. Penn Relays deadline, Penn Relays entries were due April 6th. That's how much my brain was in tune. So even that, there's some withdrawal from not having the pleasure of looking forward to Penn Relays. But you know, the goal is we'll get past this and hopefully, you know, get back to normalcy when that time permits.
That's right. No, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Down the Backstretch, one of the, you can call this the long-awaited episode. So we had to come and show our faces. Now, Aim, anything to wrap up that I might not have touched on in this conversation from your vantage point in the world of sports in general and track and field in particular?
Well, it's just that the world is impacted. When you have something that this is impacting everyone across the board, it puts it in perspective. You know, churches are shut down. Let's talk about sports. So the lesson learned is, you know, the real folks on the backstretch are the healthcare providers. We're staying inside, and we have to go to the grocery store. There are people who have to go to the grocery store to work so we can go and get food. So, you know, just want to make sure we have an attitude of gratitude for those people who are actually going towards, in some cases, going towards the danger versus being able to stay away from it. And so it kind of puts in perspective, sports is an escape for even those people. And just to put it in perspective, what's important. I mean, it's a game. Every sport we're thinking about, it's fun and games. And it obviously, it's a livelihood for people as well. But in all that we look at, just remember what's important. Kind of family. I've not been able to spend time with family. This is probably the first in 10 years I've been home in the spring, you know, 4 weeks in a row. So there's is a blessing in disguise regarding everything that we're dealing with, and we just have to find that positive in all this that's going on around us.
That's right. And on that note, sir, because like you say, there's a positive side to everything. It's a tough thing to say in light of what's going on and with lives being lost. But there you are, being able to hang with the family, and so are many of us.
Yes.
And again, thank you for your time. Shout out to the family.
It's always a pleasure.
You know, hopefully we can get back on something in the near future in the world of track and field on another down the backstretch. Thank you.
All right, looking forward to it. We'll stay. And last message is, you know, I'm starting to practice what I preach, so to get out there and do a little exercising too.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Advice taken.
All right.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alton Mckenzie Alton is the coach up there at Georgetown University and a contributor here on the Wayne Hall Show. And we are delighted to have had him today. AM, thanks for talking to us.
Yes, Wayne, always a pleasure. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. You take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.